Hello, good evening to you and welcome to Weekend News Update on Baina TV. This news is coming to you live from Atomic Junction, Benab House, Medina. We bring you top stories that have been making headlines during the week. Now, here are some of the top stories that have been making headlines during the week. Ghana's public debt hits 658.6 billion Ghana cedis. EC to lay fresh bill before Parliament for Ghana card as sole identity for registration. Bank of Ghana forms task force to combat illegal forex market operators, and Lil Wayne's accident allegedly claims life of 4-year-old boy. I'm Sherifato Ayuba. Details of the stories comes up shortly. Remember, we are streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube at Baina TV. Moving on to our first story of the week. Ghana's public debt has seen a significant increase of 47.4 billion Ghana cedis within the first 2 months of 2024, reaching a total of 658.6 billion Ghana cedis. This accounts for 62.7% of the gross domestic product by February 2024. The external debt stands out at 380 billion Ghana cedis, which is equivalent to 36.1% of the GDP. These figures were reported by the Bank of Ghana in its May 2024 Summary of Economic and Financial Data. According to the data, Ghana's debt was 611.2 billion cedis at the end of 2023, but rose to 626 billion cedis in January 2024, and further increased to 658.6 billion cedis in February 2024. The increase in debt can be partially attributed to the depreciation of the cedi against major trading currencies. In the wake of the severe impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, Ghana sought a $3 billion bailout from the International Monetary Fund in an effort to stabilize the economy. The IMF has projected a steady decline in Ghana's debt to GDP ratio over the next 6 years. According to its April 2024 fiscal monitor, Ghana's debt to GDP ratio is expected to decrease to 69.7% by 2029. The ratio is estimated to be 83.6% in 2024, followed by 80.9% in 2025, 77.9% in 2026, 74.9% in 2027, and 72% in 2028. The IMF had previously acknowledged improvements in Ghana's fiscal economy. An investigative journalist at the Media Foundation for West Africa and a fellow at the Harvard University, Manasseh Azuri Awuni, says the Ghana Revenue Authority lied about certain facts in its contract with Strategic Mobilization Limited. According to him, the available data shows that since the contract between SML and GRA, there has not been a significant increase in volumes in the downstream sector, yet the GRA always attributed success in the downstream sector to the mobilization entity.
Speaking to an Accra-based media house on May 25th, Manasseh Azuri said even though he disagrees with the conclusion from KPMG and finds it problematic, the report gives enough grounds for one to say that the GRA and the Office of the President may have lied. He explained that the KPMG report and the documentary revealed that SML did not do anything to increase the volumes in the downstream sector, which implies that they were paid for doing nothing. The Harvard fellow stressed that although there was enough evidence on the ground, the GRA always attempt to cover it up. He noted that an average of 400 million liters per month was already being recorded in Ghana in 2019 and the first quarter of 2020 as per his review of NPA's data. However, as a result of COVID-19 lockdown in April 2020, 336 million and 311 million liters respectively were recorded by the GRA and NPA, a significant decrease, lifting volumes in April 2020. Manasseh Azuri said it cannot be based on the KPMG report. It cannot be true that the GRA started recording over 4 million liters only after bringing SML on board, hence cannot attribute the increase in revenue to SML. He added that the KPMG report indicated that GRA could not provide digital record of petroleum lifting data from January 2019 to 2020, so it had to rely on the GRA petroleum lifting data published in ESLA to Parliament. Mr. Awuni asserts that this was because the GRA did not want to be exposed.
Away from that, the Bank of Ghana established a task force to oversee all foreign exchange bureaus and ensure they comply with regulatory standards. This initiative was announced by the governor of the bank, Dr. Ernest Anderson, during the 118th Monetary Policy Statement on Monday, May 27, 2024.
The primary goal of the task force is to address the activities of illegal operators in the foreign exchange markets and enhance market transparency. By monitoring these bureaus closely, the BOG aims to curb unauthorized practices and ensure a more regulated and transparent foreign exchange environment. Additionally, the Bank of Ghana is collaborating with Ghana Association of Banks to streamline documentation requirements for foreign payments. Dr. Anderson indicated that this effort is expected to diminish the attractiveness of unofficial currency exchange channels and foster a more orderly foreign exchange market. To better address the foreign exchange needs, these corporate institutions, the Bank of Ghana, has implemented measures that reduce reliance on commercial banks. This strategic move is intended to stabilize the foreign exchange market and ensure that legitimate needs are met efficiently. Furthermore, the BOG has issued a warning to all foreign exchange bureaus against advertising exchange rates outside their premises, particularly on social media platforms. According to the central bank, the directive aims to prevent unauthorized activity and maintain discipline within the markets, ensuring that all operations remain within the bounds of regulatory compliance.
A recent accident involving Ghanaian actor Kwadwo Nkansah, also known as Lewin, is alleged to have caused the death of a 4-year-old child. According to City News, the boy named Nana Yao and his father Jacob Kofi Ampoma were hit by the actor's car at Amakom, a suburb of Kumasi in the Ashanti region on Saturday, May 25th. Eyewitnesses reported that Lewin was driving at high speed, leading to the accident. Nana Yao and his father were rushed to a nearby hospital and later transferred to Komfanochi Teaching Hospital, where the little boy passed away. Mr. Ampoma is currently receiving treatment at the hospital's emergency unit for a leg fracture sustained in the accident. His vehicle, which was severely damaged in the crash, is now in police custody for investigation. A relative of the deceased, in an interview with a Accra-based station, said the family is considering legal action and has expressed concern about the lack of attention given to the victims at the accident scene, while the focus was on the actor. The accident occurred when the actor was en route to the premiere of A Country Called Ghana movie in Kumasi. Lewin has since expressed his gratitude to God for surviving a gruesome car accident. The actor made his first statement on the accident at the movie premiere hours after the accident had occurred. The National Democratic Congress called for the immediate resignation or dismissal of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice Godfred Yeboah-Dame amidst serious allegations of misconduct. The party's demands follow the release of 16-minute audio recording that they claim implicates Mr. Dame in a scheme to influence court proceedings against the minority leader Dr. Ato Kaysel.
During a press conference on May 28, the NDC's chairman, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, asserted that the tape reveals a coaching session designed to influence Jakpe's court testimony. Nketia emphasized that the alleged coaching was intended to shape Jakpe's statement to implicate Dr. Forson. The controversy began when Jakpe, the third accused in the trial, alleged that he had been pressured to provide testimony detrimental to Dr. Forson. This tape, according to the NDC, substantiates Jakpe's claim and raises serious questions about the conduct of the Attorney General in this high-profile case.
But then the financial instrument for the project is an irrevocable letter of credit. So that credit letter has already been sent.
Hold on, no problem. But in my view, that letter of area. The contract requires that you pay by letters of credit, not so.
Yes, in addition, we should establish it upon the front of the contract.
The national chairman of the NDC, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, described Mr. Dame's conduct as perjury, pledging to prosecute him when elected in 2024 general elections. He stated that should President Akufo-Addo fail to prosecute him, a future NDC government will prosecute Godfred Dame for fabricating evidence.
The question every well-meaning Ghanaian should be asking is, why the Attorney General will refuse a proposal to settle this case, which will ensure the payment of 2 million euros to the state at a time our country is faced with economic bankruptcy. There was no wrongdoing on the part of anybody. Then somebody says he's sensitive about his company's reputation and so on, so he's prepared to pay 2 million euros to Ghana. I'm saying no. If I take it, Ato Forson will not go to jail. So let that 2 million go waste, and I find way of contriving evidence to get Ato Forson nailed. These are the statesmen we have. Ladies and gentlemen, considering the scandalous nature of this recording and other forms of evidence we have shown you, we wish to make the following pressing demands as part of efforts to restore credibility to the Attorney General's office and Ghana's judicial system as a whole. 1. The immediate and unconditional resignation or dismissal of Godfred Dame for bringing the high office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice into disrepute and public opprobrium. Clearly, Mr. Dame is not fit to hold himself out as Attorney General and Minister of Justice. He is unfit to be the leader of the Ghana Bar. 2. The immediate prosecution of Godfred Dame for multiple violations of the laws of Ghana. We wish to make it clear that should President Akufo-Addo refuse or fail to prosecute him, a future NDC government will prosecute Godfred Dame for this heinous crime of fabrication of evidence.
Asiedu Nketia alleged that the government has no evidence of wrongdoing against the minority leader and is only interested in fabrications to prosecute him as retributions for his strong opposition to the economic mismanagement.
Now, in a quick response, the NPP has described the tape recording as doctored and accused the opposition NDC of attempting to help the minority leader, Dr. Kaysel Ato Forson, evade justice in the ambulance case, dismissing the claims that the prosecution of the minority leader in parliament is politically motivated.
Addressing the press on Tuesday, May 28, in response to the NDC's revelations, NPP legal practitioner Frank Davis stated that the tape contained repetitions, overlaps, and voice distortions. He claimed that the NDC has spent the past days manipulating the alleged tape. Mr. Davis argued that the Attorney General never requested the third accused to falsify any evidence in the prosecution's favor, even in the alleged doctored tape produced by the NDC.
It's played. The alleged conversation is supposed to last 26 minutes. The NDC schemed to play only 60 minutes. 16 out of 26. The question is, where is the rest of the tape? Even in respect of what was played, it is apparent that there are repetitions, overlaps, incoherence, voiceover, and distortions, demonstrating that the NDC has spent these past days distorting whatever tape they played. It is no wonder that even this afternoon, we are caught in the same trap anyway. Even this afternoon, instead of commencing the press conference at 2, they had to wait till about 3 o'clock because they were still doctoring. We haven't doctored. We are presenting to you the facts as they are.
Frank Davis stressed that the claim that Dr. Forson was being prosecuted for being the minority leader was baseless and devoid of truth, saying it is a ploy to derail the trial.
What at all do the NDC want from this young man? The youngest Attorney General the country has ever produced is working in the best interest of the nation. Yet, these people will not let him rest. The latest allegation by Richard Japa, the third accused and an associate of Keselatu Forson in this botched ambulance procurement transaction, is therefore only a further ploy contrived to curtail the prosecution of Atu Forson and smear the Attorney General's integrity and reputation. But this, I can assure you, will not work.
He stated that the law is blind to titles and political affiliations, saying it is the duty of every citizen to uphold the law.
We firmly believe that public officials, regardless of social standing, must be treated equally before the law, and they should be accountable for their use of public resources. Needless to say that the law is no respecter of persons. Ladies and gentlemen, the allegations by Richard Japa that the AG has on several occasions met him in private at odd hours and in person on phone to coax him to implicate the accused person is a complete variance with the prevailing facts. In fact, it is laughable.
Davis further emphasized that the prosecution is solely based on the evidence at hand and not on Dr. Forson's political standing, stating that the prosecution of Keselatu Forson commenced even before he became minority leader, making worthless and nonsensical the suggestion that he is being prosecuted because he is the minority leader.
This pressure stems from some warped and baseless logic of the NDC that the Atu Forson's prosecution is politically motivated and his leader in parliament should be immune from prosecution, even when the facts indicate conduct resulting in financial loss to the state. As mentioned earlier, investigations commenced as far back as 2017, making it imperative to ask at this stage, why is Atu Forson the only government official being prosecuted from all other former ministers from whom statements were taken? Your guess should equally be good as mine.
Responding to demands from various functions, notably the National Democratic Congress, the NDC, for the Attorney General's resignation, Frank Davis said the Attorney General will continue to perform his duties with intelligence and determination.
The National Democratic Congress in the Volta region urged all victims of the Akosombo and Gbon Dam spillage who lost their voters' ID cards to actively participate in the replacement process. This is according to a statement issued and signed by the Volta Regional Communications Officer, Sokpa Kafui Agbeleze. This comes after the Electoral Commission announced a timetable for the replacement of voter ID cards free of charge for all flood victims.
The exercise is scheduled to commence on Thursday, May 30, and run through Friday, June 14, 2024. According to the NDC, the initiative is crucial to ensure that all eligible voters retain their ability to participate in the December 7 and future electoral processes without hindrance. The party urged all affected individuals to visit the nearest ECU offices in their respective districts from May 30 to June 14, 2024 to achieve their lost voter ID cards replaced. The replacement exercise also applies to those who may want to transfer their votes or apply to vote by proxy. The voter region NDC further emphasized the NDC's commitment to supporting this process, providing the necessary assistance to facilitate a smooth and efficient replacement procedure for the affected citizens to be able to exercise their fundamental right to vote. The party expressed its sympathies to all citizens affected by the devastating flood caused by spillages from the opening of the floodgates of Akosombo and Pond dams by the Volta River Authority, which affected some 39,000 Ghanaians downstream.
Away from that, the third accused in the ongoing ambulance trial, Richard Jakpa, has filed a court application seeking to have the charges against him dismissed or alternatively have the proceedings against him stayed. The application was submitted on Thursday, May 30, 2024 by his lawyers. In the application, Mr. Jakpa argues that the charges and proceedings initiated by the Attorney General Godfred Yeboah-Dame constitute an abuse of court processes and violate the obligations set in the 1992 Constitution.
The NDC legislator explained in a social media post that recent allegations of misconduct against the Attorney General Godfred Yeboah-Dame prompted his move. Speaking to the media in Accra on Thursday, Deputy Attorney General Alfred Tua Yeboah indicated his office will not protest any such development.
We believe in accountability and we abhor misreporting. And so, if the Chief Justice, in her wisdom, decides that this matter should be live, we have no objection to say. In fact, the AG at different fora had indicated that when it comes to public interest matters, or matters where the public has that kind of interest, it will be the interest of justice that such proceedings are broadcast live on tele and on radio. So we have no objection to it. But as I said, the CJ has the final say. Not only the broadcast, we're also looking at a situation where we maybe have day-to-day hearing so that we can get to the end of this matter as soon as possible.
The majority in Parliament has accused its minority counterpart of hypocrisy for constantly kicking against tax exemption requests for some companies under the 1D1F program. The accusations follows rejection of the $350 million tax waiver request for some 42 companies under the 1D1F initiative.
The minority, through its leader, Dr. Kaisel Atoforsen, on the floor of Parliament during the recent emergency sitting, questioned the basis for such waivers when government is in dire need of funds as a result of the current economic crisis. But addressing the media in Parliament on Thursday, May 30th, Majority Leader Alexander Afenyo-Markins questioned the basics for such exemptions granted under the Mahama administration, running into billions of dollars to some companies, including Jata Cement, some of which, according to him, were without parliamentary approval.
We are a pro-business party. MPP has a private sector orientation. So we understood that to mean that by granting such concession, these companies will make the needed investment, expand, and employ more Ghanaians. We understood that as such. Now, let me give you the names of these companies. One, Jata Cement. Jata Cement. Jata Cement was a company that benefited from this unconstitutional, illegal tax incentive. We all know, by the imperative of the Constitution, it's only Parliament that can impose tax or waive taxation. But some actions of the executive under certain rule of necessity, Jata Cement, Jata Cement was granted a tax waiver. We did not complain because we were told that Jata Cement was a strategic investor. It did not even come to Parliament. Huge sums of money. Huge.
The leader of the government business in the House accused the NDC MPs of stifling the progress of local companies in Ghanaian businesses with their action, which ultimately have impacts the economy.
Ladies and gentlemen, the tax waiver granted MPS also came with concession, which covered the value-added tax, NHIL, custom duty, withholding tax, among others. This foreign company is still enjoying all these freebies as we turn a blind eye to Ghanaian businesses. Akufo-Addo said, one district, one factory. Akufo-Addo's vision is for an industrialized economy where Ghanaians are given the opportunity to do business so that our young graduates will get the opportunity to be employed rather than waiting on public sector work. Ladies and gentlemen, again, the NDC administration unconstitutionally, illegally, and immorally, without parliamentary approval, designated some companies as strategic investors by GIPC and granted tax waivers without recourse to Parliament. They came out with a policy that there were some investment that they consider strategic, and because of that, they are supposed to enjoy some tax incentives. So through executive fiat, President Mahama sat in his office at Jubilee House, gave orders to the Ministry of Finance, listed some companies, and these companies enjoyed tax incentives by virtue of the nature of their business being strategic for our economy.
And that is how we wrap up. You've been watching Weekend News Update on Baina TV. My name is Sherifatu Ayuba. Have a good evening.